Welcome to Penn State Sports Court. Today we are talking about one of the hottest debates in sports right now. No, it's not who gets the Heisman or the best teams in basketball, it's what you're watching your sports on. Have you been loyal to cable and are taking in all the benefits, or did you make that switch to streaming and can't seem to find your favorite sports team? I'm Charley Drechsler, and I'm here with Nate Johns and Hannah Mueller to settle the debate. As a New York sports fan, I struggle living here in PA to watch the teams I support. Just Sunday, I was forced to watch the Steelers over the Bills and the Giants, which is not as big of a tragedy as Dancing with the Stars not being on YouTube TV for the past 2 weeks. Clearly, I fell for cutting the cord, but Nate doesn't think it's a trick. Nate, tell us the benefits of ditching cable.
So when you're looking at cable, you have to look at the price because you're paying hundreds of dollars. When you're looking at DirecTV specifically in the area of sports, you're looking at something where you're paying $125 just to pay for 160 channels, of which you're only going to use about 10. Now, some may argue they have smaller plans, but if you're a sports fan and want DirecTV, you need CBS Sports Network. How else are you going to watch the Patriot League Basketball Championship and all of the random mid-major games in the middle of the week from action? You're not, so you need that. So the alternative is to go to Hulu Live TV or YouTube TV, where you're paying $80 a month, which is about in the same range as you're finding your other cable providers, Xfinity, and you're also getting a diverse library content because we talked about those hundreds of channels that you don't really need. Who remembers Ion TV? Well, if you have DirecTV or Xfinity, you're paying for Ion TV just to not use it. On streaming services, not only are you getting a backlog of content that you already know about and probably already like, you're getting live sports, so you're just fitting that in to something you already own, and it's lovely and affordable.
Well, Nate, when you're looking at streaming versus cable, it's very easy to see the price differences between Netflix and ESPN Plus and the Disney and Hulu packages, where you're paying roughly $17.99 for premium with no ads. And obviously, cable can be quite expensive if you're not bundling correctly. You have many bundling options, which are based on the consumer and what you choose to pay for. And also, we have many sports fans who are a fan of every sport, and when sport rights are fragmented between ESPN and all of these other channels, it makes it very difficult to kind of justify that singular price point when all of a sudden you start adding on all of these standalone prices and these subscriptions, and all of a sudden now your subscriptions are all over the place. You're paying for Netflix, you're paying for Disney Plus, Hulu, all of these things, when for cable it's one bill, one plan, one provider, and you end up just paying additionally for internet, phone. You get all of these other aspects that you don't see in streaming, and I kind of think it can be the better deal.
I can attest to that because just this week alone, I wanted to pay for NFL Sunday Ticket on top of my YouTube TV, and I wanted to pay for Big Ten Network. So I can see the benefits of cable right now. Nate?
Well, that sounds like a really loaded question, so there may be a motion for a mistrial following this case. However, when you look at YouTube TV and specifically Sunday Ticket, the price for that a month is $115. Sunday Ticket obviously came from Red Zone. How much was it when it was over there? It was $400 for Sunday Ticket, which is really one of the leading causes of cord cutting. People are doing this for a reason. Streaming is up to 46% of how people consume media. Cable is at a 22% low because it is consumer driven, because consumers are already paying for these streaming services. You already have Netflix, you already have Amazon Prime, you already have Peacock. That's how they're able to afford these deals. That money's not coming from nowhere. So it's expenses that you've already had, and you're getting an additional bonus on top of it with live sports, which prevents the need for paying $400 a month for cable television.
Yes, but when you look at that $400 a month, it is also built in for the entire season. So when you really break it down, it's like roughly $60 a month, which is significantly under the average cost for cable. And if you look back, the $400 for, I think it was DirecTV that was providing it, ceased to exist in 2023 because they realized that it was no longer obtainable for many consumers. And overall is now only for businesses and companies that broadcast in their restaurants, on their TVs all the time. And when we're looking, and when you focus on that 46% to 22% difference between streaming and cable, that 46% doesn't just account for live sports, which was mainly what we're focusing on here with Giants fans and Bills fans who seem to be struggling so much being in PA. But that 46% also accounts for YouTube videos, TikToks, regular entertainment, TV shows, movies. They don't account for that 22% of people that would realistically have cable just to simply watch live sports because they get it all in one place. And that kind of goes onto that accessibility portion where streaming is fragmented everywhere. You have I'm watching hockey on Peacock. I'm watching football on ESPN. I'm paying for all of these subscriptions to try and watch all of these sports. All of a sudden, college basketball is on ESPN, Peacock, and wherever else I can find it. When cable, it's all right here. It's all in front of me.
Yeah, but the argument to that would be, even though you're paying all that for cable, you can be more selective about what you want to watch with your streaming. You can move things around. And for combined prices of things that include the NFL, the NBA, the NHL, things on ESPN Plus, Paramount Plus, Peacock, Apple TV, it all comes around, including Netflix and Amazon Prime. That all comes together to about $67 a month. So you're looking at a very solid value for your money, and you're not being forced to stick with something that is exponentially higher than that, where you can pick and choose. Because I'm not somebody who is particularly fond of F1, so I don't need to pay for Apple TV. And I'm not fond of UFC, so I don't need to pay for Paramount Plus. So you're able to sort of mix and match the things that you like, and it's accessible from anywhere. It doesn't have to necessarily be on your TV or through that cable provider, through the app of the cable provider as well.
I totally understand that. But my last point to make is that reliability aspect. During streaming, you experience lagging, all of this buffering, and all of a sudden you have a 30 to 60 second delay behind cable. And for avid sports watchers and viewers in general, they want to be in that action right along with the team. And overall, you don't want that a minute delay. That minute delay can make or break what you are viewing. And overall, that's just part of the main majority of why I believe that cable is superior to streaming, especially with all of my other points.
Okay. You can be the judge if this debate is settled. For Nate Johns and Hannah Mueller, I'm Charley Drechsler, and that's all for Penn State Sports Night.
Hey everybody, thanks for tuning into this edition of Penn State Sports Night.
For more content like this, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, give us a like, and follow our socials down below.
And as always, we are
Penn State Sports Night.